Did you know that you'll find the largest island within an island in Canada? And that there's a famous roadside attraction that appears to defy the laws of physics? How about hills that have been on fire for over 2 centuries? Canadian geography is full of crazy facts and strange surprises you'd never expect. In fact, you'd think some are fake. So, get ready because we're about to explore 50 of the most bizarre and unbelievable facts about Canadian geography. Fact 50: the largest known impact crater in Canada and the second largest on Earth. Beneath the surface of Canada lies a geological wonder, the Sudbury Basin, the largest known impact crater in the country and the second largest on Earth. Situated near Sudbury, Ontario, this massive crater stretches an incredible 130 kilometers, 81 miles wide. Around 1.8 million years ago, a giant 10-kilometer wide meteorite struck the Earth at unimaginable speed, forming the basin in mere seconds. The impact was so intense it altered everything in its path. Over time, the crater filled with mineral-rich magma, turning the area into one of the world's richest mining regions, home to vast deposits of nickel, copper, and other precious metals. Fact 49: there's a part of Canada that is always on fire. On the east coast of Cape Bathurst in the Northwest Territories, you'll find the Smoking Hills, a natural phenomenon that's been smoking for hundreds of years. Nope, no magic here, just a fascinating geological oddity. The underground oil shales beneath these hills are rich in sulfur and brown coal, and when these combustible gases are exposed to oxygen, they ignite, causing the rocks to burn non-stop. The first recorded sighting of this fiery wonder was made by Irish explorer Robert McClure in the early 1800s. Fact 48: the St. Lawrence Estuary, a mighty mixer of fresh and salt water. An estuary is a partially enclosed coastal area where fresh water from rivers and streams mixes with salt water from the ocean. And with water flowing out of the Great Lakes, the largest source of fresh water in the world, it's no surprise that the St. Lawrence Maritime Estuary is one of the largest and deepest on Earth. This incredible waterway sees fresh water from the Great Lakes gradually mixing with salt water from the Atlantic Ocean over a stretch of nearly 250 kilometers. Starting from Île-de-Loire-Léon near Quebec City and extending to Point des Monts, northeast of Baie-Comeau, this dynamic zone creates a unique environment where fresh and saltwater blend, supporting diverse ecosystems and vital shipping routes. Fact 47: you will find the world's oldest pool of water in Canada. Imagine diving into a pool of water so ancient it predates the dinosaurs by billions of years. Well, in a remarkable discovery in 2016, a team of adventurous geoscientists and researchers from the University of Toronto uncovered just that: the world's oldest known pool of water, right beneath Canadian soil. Deep within the Kidd Creek Mine in Timmins, Ontario, they found a hidden reservoir of liquid that's been sitting undisturbed for approximately 2 billion years. This ancient water has survived for eons, trapped beneath layers of rock, untouched by modern contamination. It's like a natural time capsule, offering a glimpse into Earth's distant past when the planet was still in its infancy. Fact 46: it takes just 5 minutes for a day to transform. Nowhere has this been proven more true than in Pincher Creek, Alberta, where the country's most extreme temperature change was recorded. In just 1 hour, the temperature shot from a chilly -19 degrees Celsius to a warm 22 degrees Celsius, a wild swing of 41 degrees. This absurd change is attributed to the strong, dry Chinook winds that blow down the eastern slopes of the Rocky Mountains. However, Chinook is also known as the ice eater among locals who appreciate the break from winter that the winds provide. Fact 45: Canada is home to 3 of the biggest islands in the world. When it comes to massive land masses, Canada's islands pack a serious punch. In fact, 3 of its islands rank among the top 10 biggest islands on the entire planet. First up is Baffin Island, which is so enormous that it's more than double the size of Great Britain, covering approximately 507,000 square kilometers, 196,000 square miles. Baffin Island is the 5th largest island in the world. Next, we have Victoria Island and Ellesmere Island, both roughly the size of England. Ellesmere, in particular, is one of the northernmost islands in the world and features glaciers, polar deserts, and rugged mountains. Approximately 40% of the island is covered by glaciers, making it one of the most heavily glaciated areas in the Canadian Arctic. Fact 44: there's a Canadian hill that appears to defy gravity. In Moncton, New Brunswick, there is a natural illusion that puzzled visitors for decades: Magnetic Hill. This famous roadside attraction appears to defy the laws of physics, creating the illusion that cars are rolling uphill on their own, without any engine or driver input. What makes Magnetic Hill so fascinating is an optical illusion created by the surrounding terrain and perspective. When you park your car in just the right spot, the gentle slope and the way the ground is shaped trick your eyes into thinking the downhill road is actually an uphill climb. As you release the brakes, the car seems to roll upward, defying gravity. Mystery Hills, Spook Hills, and Magic Hills are just some of the other names for magnetic hills. The same environmental circumstances create the illusion, despite entertaining beliefs of supernatural forces at play. The most crucial of these is that the horizon needs to be partially or completely hidden. Fact 43. Canada has its own version of the Dead Sea. While the Dead Sea in the Middle East is famous worldwide for its super buoyant waters, you may not have to travel thousands of miles to experience a similar phenomenon. Canada has its own Dead Sea, Little Manitou Lake in Saskatchewan. Covering about 13.3 square kilometers, roughly 5 square miles, this mineral-rich lake is fed by underground springs that deposit high concentrations of salt and minerals. With mineral salt levels reaching 180,000 milligrams per liter, the water is so dense that you can effortlessly float on the surface without sinking, just like in the Dead Sea. This natural wonder has been a popular spot for relaxation, health treatments, and healing for decades. Its mineral-rich waters are believed to have therapeutic properties, attracting visitors seeking the same buoyant experience and wellness benefits that make the Dead Sea famous worldwide. Fact 42. The largest island within an island. Yes, Canada is home to many incredible islands, but one of the most intriguing is a tiny, little-known landmass found within a larger island. The largest island within an island in not just the country, but the whole world. This secluded spot is approximately 4 acres in size and is located deep in the Arctic. Part of the reason it's so little known is its extreme inaccessibility. Situated about 75 miles inland from Victoria Island, which itself is the 8th largest island in the world, this tiny island is tucked away between Nunavut and the Northwestern Territories. Its remote location and harsh Arctic conditions make it nearly impossible to visit, leaving it largely a mystery to the outside world. Fact 41. Canada boasts the tallest vertical drop on Earth. Located in the icy wilderness of Nunavut lies a geological marvel that holds a world record, Mount Thor, named after the Norse god of thunder. This towering granite mountain has the tallest vertical drop on Earth, plunging an incredible 1.25 kilometers, 4,100 feet, straight down. What makes Mount Thor even more remarkable is its 105-degree overhang, meaning its slope is actually steeper than a true vertical drop. Located within Ayutthaya National Park on Baffin Island, this awe-inspiring natural feature has become a magnet for climbers and adventurers worldwide. While its cliffs have attracted many for climbing expeditions, paragliding over Mount Thor is officially prohibited due to safety concerns and environmental protection. Fact 40. Icy Canada has a desert, and it's a record breaker. When you hear the word desert, countries like Australia, Libya, and Egypt probably spring to mind, not Canada. But here's the shocker. Canada is home to the world's smallest one. You might picture deserts as huge, scorching stretches of land, but in the Yukon, you'll find something completely different. The Carcross Desert, which holds the title of the world's smallest desert. Spanning just 2.5 square kilometers, just shy of 1 square mile, this area features mesmerizing sand dunes that seem out of place enclosed by the surrounding mountains. Despite its name, the Carcross Desert isn't actually a true desert. The unincorporated community of Carcross uses the moniker in good fun, but it is a fascinating remnant of a glacial lake that existed thousands of years ago. Over time, strong winds have blown sand from nearby Lake Bennett, creating a series of dunes that have remained dry year-round thanks to the protective mountain barriers. Fact 39. British Columbia is home to one of the world's most unique lakes. For most of the year, Spotted Lake in British Columbia's Similkameen Valley appears as an ordinary body of water. But come summer, it transforms into something truly extraordinary. When the hot sun beats down, the water evaporates, leaving behind mineral-rich deposits that create a natural mosaic of white-rimmed circles across the lake's surface. These striking spots are shallow pools formed by the high concentration of minerals like magnesium sulfate, calcium, and silver. As the water recedes, it crystallizes these minerals, producing vibrant shades of yellow and green, with each circle surrounded by a striking white border. This natural spectacle has earned Spotted Lake its reputation as one of Canada's most unique and photogenic natural wonders. Fact 38. You can visit France in Canada, kind of. Think traveling from St. John's, Newfoundland to France is a long trip? Think again. Just 25 kilometers off the southern coast of Newfoundland and Labrador lies St. Pierre and Miquelon, a small archipelago that is the last remaining French territory in North America. Despite its proximity to Canada, St. Pierre and Miquelon is very much French. Its currency is the euro, and its customs, traditions, and culture are distinctly French. The 6,000 residents speak a version of French that's closer to metropolitan French than to Canadian French, giving visitors a true taste of France without leaving North America. Fact 37. Nova Scotia is home to 300-million-year-old fossils. Ever wish you could step back over 300 million years? You can do just that in Nova Scotia and explore the ancient world at the Joggins Fossil Cliffs, a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 2008. This remarkable location contains the most complete fossil record of life during the Coal Age, a period when forests and ecosystems thrived long before dinosaurs roamed the Earth. The site was first discovered by Nova Scotian geologist Sir William Dawson, who uncovered one of its most famous fossils, Hylonomus yaley, the earliest known reptile. This groundbreaking find provided critical insights into the evolution of terrestrial vertebrates. The site is so significant that it's even been mentioned in Charles Darwin's revolutionary 1859 book on the origin of species. Fact 36. Canada has national parks that may be bigger than the country you live in. As crazy as it sounds, depending on where you are in the world, Canada has national parks that may be bigger than your home turf. Take Wood Buffalo National Park in Alberta, for example, spanning an incredible 44,000 square kilometers. That's larger than the combined area of Denmark and Switzerland. It's a true wilderness giant, home to diverse ecosystems, wildlife, and pristine land. And it doesn't stop there. Nahanni National Park Reserve in the Northwest Territories covers over 30,000 square kilometers, making it even bigger than the entire country of Israel. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is a stunning wonderland of waterfalls, canyons, and hot springs, offering a truly epic natural experience. Fact 35. You will probably weigh less in Canada. Ever traveled to Canada and said, "This diet is working better than I thought"? Well, there's some cool science behind that. Believe it or not, Canada actually has a slight gravity shortage. In the region around Hudson Bay, measurements taken since the 1960s have shown that gravity is about 0.005% less than what we'd expect elsewhere. But why does Canada have less gravity than it should? This curious phenomenon has puzzled scientists for years, sparking ongoing research and debate. Until more is known, we'll have to keep scratching our heads alongside the scientists. Fact 34. Canada is as tall as it is wide. Canada has the widest range of latitudes on the entire planet, stretching 4,634 kilometers from north to south and 5,514 kilometers from east to west. Canada spans from the icy Arctic to the border with the United States. The southern tip of Canada lines up with the latitude of Northern California, while its northern border reaches all the way to the top of the world, closer to the North Pole than many might realize. Fact 33. Canada is wide, but how wide exactly? We all know Canada is massive, but it's even bigger than most people think. This enormous country covers staggering distances, making it the widest on Earth when it comes to both latitude and longitude. From the far northern tip of Ellesmere Island in Nunavut to the southern edge of Ontario's Niagara Peninsula, Canada stretches about 4,634 kilometers, 2,880 miles from north to south. That's enough to travel from Mexico all the way up to Canada's Arctic territories. But it doesn't stop there. East to west, Canada's width is even more staggering, measuring about 5,514 kilometers, 3,424 miles from the Atlantic coast of Newfoundland to the Pacific shores of British Columbia. This immense width means that Canada spans 6 different time zones, from the snowy tundra of the Arctic to the temperate forests of the West Coast. Fact 32. Canada is home to the world's oldest rocks. In 2008, a team of Canadian and American researchers made an incredible discovery along the northern coast of Quebec by Hudson's Bay. Rocks that are 4.4 billion years old, making them the oldest rocks on Earth. This ancient treasure trove surpasses the previously known oldest rocks, which were part of the Acosta-Gneis Formation located southeast of Great Bear Lake in the Northwest Territories. Fact 31. Pingos galore. The Mackenzie Delta region in the Northwest Territories is a true natural wonder, home to the world's largest concentration of pingos, around 1,350 of these fascinating ice formations. It's also where the biggest pingo ever discovered stands tall, Ibiuk Pingo, reaching 49 meters. So what exactly is a pingo? It's an ice-cored hill, typically shaped like a cone that forms only in permafrost areas. These hills are created when water trapped beneath the surface freezes, building up pressure that pushes the ground upward, forming these unique hills that can range from just a few meters to over 30 meters high. Fact 30. Boy, that's one long beach. Ontario's Wasaga Beach holds the title for the longest freshwater beach in the world, stretching an impressive 14 kilometers, around 8.6 miles along the shore of Lake Huron's Georgian Bay. It's a massive sandy playground perfect for sunbathing, swimming, and beach games. That's a whole bunch of sand and shoreline to enjoy, making it a favorite summer destination for both locals and visitors. Fact 29. The heart of North America. At a latitude of 50 degrees 26 minutes and a longitude of 104 degrees 37 minutes, the city of Regina in Saskatchewan is the Canadian city closest to the geographical center of North America. This means if you were to draw a point right in the middle of all of North America, Regina would be very close to that spot. It's a unique position that makes Regina the heart of the continent, right in the middle of the action. Fact 28. Earth's largest uninhabited island, Mars Training Ground. Devon Island in Nunavut is the world's largest uninhabited island, covering 55,000 square kilometers, larger than Denmark. Its barren, rocky landscape makes it a perfect Mars analog, and NASA and the Mars Society use it for experiments and testing prototype rovers. Known as Mars on Earth, Devon's icy, desolate environment closely resembles the Red Planet. Brief settlements existed until 1950, but harsh conditions led to their abandonment. Today, only muskoxen and seasonal researchers remain, making this vast, empty landmass a surreal reminder of Canada's remote north. Fact 27. The foggiest place in the world. Off the coast of Newfoundland lies the Grand Banks, famously known as the foggiest place in the world. This area is enveloped in a fog for a significant part of the year, experiencing about 40% fog cover in winter and up to 84% in summer. This persistent fog creates a mysterious, misty landscape that has fascinated sailors and scientists alike. It also plays a crucial role in the region's rich fishing history, shaping the lives of those who depend on the sea. Fact 26. Bay of Fundy's tide is so strong it makes rivers flow backwards. With water levels rising and falling by up to 16.8 meters, 54.6 feet, every day, roughly the height of a 4 to 5 story building, the Bay of Fundy in eastern Canada is well known for having the greatest tides in the world. And what's even more impressive is the fact that the St. John River in New Brunswick actually reverses its flow during high tide due to the strength of these strong tides, a unique occurrence known as reversing falls. Before massive tidal forces push saltwater upstream, the river briefly stops at slack tide, causing stunning rapids and whirlpools as it rushes against the normal current. Nowhere else on Earth do ocean tides have the ability to so obviously overwhelm a river. Every day, the Bay of Fundy is a breathtaking reminder of the untamed grandeur of nature. Fact 25. A 31-letter lake name, Canada's longest place name. Take a deep breath because this is a real mouthful. While the longest officially recognized place name in the world is 85 characters long and is situated in New Zealand, Tamawa Tawa okay, you get the point. Canada boasts its own impressive contender as well. Pequawtchanamakoswakwe-Pinwanik Lake, located in Manitoba, holds the record for Canada's longest one-word place name. This 31-letter tongue twister comes from the Cree language and means where the wild trout are caught by fishing with hooks. The remote lake's incredible name is attributed to indigenous heritage, though it's a challenge to pronounce. Locals sometimes simply refer to it as Fishing Lake, but where's the fun in that? Whether you call it by its Cree name or its English nickname, one thing's certain: pronouncing Pequawtchanamakoswakwe-Pinwanik correctly is quite an achievement, and 3 hours later, I'm pretty proud of myself right now. Fact 24. The world's longest recreational trail network, the Trans-Canada Trail, sometimes referred to as the Great Trail, is the world's longest network of recreational paths, covering more than 28,000 kilometers, nearly 70% of Earth's circumference, connecting all 10 provinces and 3 territories from the Atlantic to the Pacific and the Arctic. It's a patchwork of local trails, rail lines, greenways, and water routes. You can hike, bike, paddle, or ski along its urban cities, forests, mountains, and coastlines. Approximately 80% of Canadians reside within 30 minutes of the route, which provides an amazing opportunity to take in the breathtaking environment. Few people have made the entire trip, but it's the ultimate cross-country experience, taking you from the coast of Newfoundland to the Arctic tundra. Fact 23. The Trans-Canada Highway is a record breaker. The Trans-Canada Highway is an incredible feat of engineering and connectivity, stretching approximately 7,821 kilometers, about 4,860 miles across the country. It links Victoria, British Columbia on the Pacific coast to Labrador on the Atlantic coast, making it one of the longest national highway systems in the world. Fact 22. St. Paul, Alberta and its connection to UFOs. You've likely heard that Canada is one of the most, if not the most, welcoming countries in the world. But maybe this is a little too welcoming. In 1967, the small Canadian town of St. Paul, Alberta made a bold and playful statement by building the world's first UFO landing pad. Declaring that they welcomed everyone, even aliens, the town created a giant, eye-catching UFO-shaped landing pad to attract intergalactic tourists. This quirky landmark was timed to coincide with Canada's centennial celebrations, showcasing the town's sense of humor and creativity. Fact 21. One mountain, three oceans. A triple drainage phenomenon. Glacier-topped Mount Snowdome is a unique peak in the Canadian Rockies that allows rainfall to flow to three distinct oceans. It is a hydrological pinnacle of North America, situated at 11,000 feet on the boundary between Alberta and British Columbia. The Columbia River carries water that melts on its peak west to the Pacific, the Mackenzie River carries it north to the Arctic Ocean, and Hudson Bay carries it east to the Atlantic. The Great Divide and Arctic Divide converge at Snowdome, a rare triple continental divide site. A single drop of rain might land in three distinct oceans, separated by thousands of kilometers, as it is one of only two such summits in North America, a magnificent example of Canada's amazing geology. Fact 20. Most Canadians live south of Seattle. Although Canada is the second largest country in the world, its population is surprisingly small, about 40 million people, compared to the 347 million residents of the United States. In fact, Canada's entire population is just slightly more than Tokyo's metropolitan area, which has around 37.2 million residents. Interestingly, 60% of Canadians live south of Seattle, meaning much of the country is sparsely populated. Cities like Toronto and Montreal, Canada's largest metropolitan areas, are actually located below the latitude of Washington, D.C., which means vast regions of Canada remain largely untouched and uninhabited, emphasizing its vast natural wilderness. Fact 19. Canada has the fourth lowest population density on Earth. So we've established that Canada is massive, but its population, not so much. With only about 4 people per square kilometer, or 11 people per square mile, Canada ranks as having the fourth lowest population density in the world, spanning an incredible 9,093,510 square kilometers, that's 3,511,022 square miles. Canada's wide-open spaces are home to relatively few people, making it one of the most sparsely populated countries on Earth. That's a lot of land and a little bit of people. Perfect for those who love vast wilderness and peaceful scenery. Fact 18. The Great Lakes provide drinking water for 10 million Canadians. The Great Lakes, Superior, Michigan, Huron, Erie, and Ontario are not just stunning natural wonders, they are also vital sources of drinking water. Approximately 10 million Canadians, which is about 25% of Canada's population, rely on these lakes for their everyday water needs. This incredible resource highlights the importance of preserving and protecting these freshwater lakes, which serve as a lifeline for millions across the country. Fact 17. Mars-like temperatures in the Great White North. In 1947, the tiny Yukon town of Snag recorded a chilling temperature of negative 62.8 degrees Celsius, negative 81.4 degrees Fahrenheit, making it one of the coldest places in North America. The frosty air coming from Siberia created conditions so extreme that the temperature in northern Canada was almost as cold as what you'd find on the surface of Mars. Fact 16. The fifth largest crude oil producer in the world, often called black gold. Crude oil has fueled conflicts and shaped histories worldwide. Canada is a major player in this energy source, boasting over 176 billion barrels of crude oil reserves. This makes Canada the fifth largest crude oil producer globally. Remarkably, Canada's resources account for roughly 70% of the world's total crude oil reserves, highlighting its vital role in the global energy landscape. This wealth of oil resources is both a powerful asset and a significant factor in international economic and political affairs. Fact 15. Canada's only officially bilingual province. You might think Quebec, but it's actually New Brunswick that holds a special place in Canada, as the only province with official bilingual status. Approximately 33% of its residents speak French, making it a cultural and linguistic bridge between English and French Canada. This unique blend of languages reflects the province's rich history and diverse community, where both English and French are recognized and celebrated. Fact 14. Canada, a forest nation. Did you know that 9% of the world's forests are in Canada, covering an impressive 347 million hectares? Canada's forests are a huge and vital part of the planet's ecosystems. These woodlands make up nearly 9% of all the forests on Earth, highlighting just how green and expansive the country truly is. Thanks to its forests, Canada proudly holds the title of the third most forested country in the world, behind Russia, which has the largest forest area and is home to 1/5 of global forest area, and Brazil, the only other country with more than 10% of global forest cover. Fact 13. One of the biggest waves ever recorded. You may have heard that the biggest waves in the world were found at Nazaré, Portugal, but there's a slight discrepancy in that. On September 11, 1995, the luxury ocean liner QE2 was caught in the powerful Hurricane Lewis off the coast of Newfoundland. During the storm, the ship was struck by a massive wave towering 30 meters, nearly 100 feet high, the largest wave height ever recorded. Hurricane Lewis was an enormous storm, covering almost the entire North Atlantic Ocean, unleashing its fury across a large area. Per a press release in 2024, German big wave surfer Sebastian Steudtner surfed what was described as possibly the biggest wave ever measured, at 28.57 meters, 93.73 feet, in Nazaré, Portugal. So while this may be the biggest wave ever surfed, Canada holds the title for the biggest wave ever measured. Fact 12. Ottawa is a contender for the world's coldest capital. You've probably heard about the harsh winters in Ottawa, but you probably didn't realize it was this cold, with temperatures that can send shivers down even the sturdiest of Canadians. On average, January lows dip to around negative 14.8 degrees Celsius, making Ottawa one of the coldest capital cities in the world. Each year, Ottawa finds itself in fierce competition with cities like Moscow, Helsinki, Reykjavik, and Ulaanbaatar, the capital of Mongolia, for the dubious honor, or perhaps dishonor, of being the coldest. Fact 11. Longest international border. The border between Canada and the United States is the longest international border in the world, stretching approximately 5,525 miles, 8,891 kilometers. 13 U.S. states share a border with Canada. Alaska has the longest border with Canada at about 1,538 miles, 2,475 kilometers, while Pennsylvania has the shortest, sharing just 42 miles, 68 kilometers of border. Fact 10. This town is the site of the deadliest landslide in Canadian history. On the morning of April 29, 1903, tragedy struck the small mining town of Frank, Alberta, when a massive portion of Turtle Mountain suddenly collapsed. A whopping 110 million tons of limestone rock detached from the mountain and came crashing down onto the town below. This devastating landslide destroyed the entire eastern part of Frank, and of the 600 people living in Frank at the time of the rockslide, over 100 were in the path of the rocks. Of those, more than 90 were lost, making it the deadliest landslide in Canadian history. Indigenous tribes had long considered Turtle Mountain to be unstable, and some believe that the town's coal mining activities may have contributed to the disaster by weakening the mountain's structure. Fact 9. Legal land border crossings. There are 119 legal land border crossings between the United States and Canada. Of these, 2 are one-way crossings only. For example, Churubusco, New York serves as a port of entry into the United States from Canada, but there is no access for travelers going from the US into Canada at this location. Conversely, there's a legal crossing from Fort Fairfield, Maine into Four Falls, New Brunswick, allowing Canadian visitors to enter the US, but no US entry is permitted from this crossing into Canada. Fact 8. Busiest international border crossing in North America. The Ambassador Bridge connects Detroit, Michigan in the United States with Windsor, Ontario in Canada. It is the busiest international border crossing in North America in terms of trade volume, handling a large amount of goods and freight daily. It accommodates 27% of the approximately $400 billion in annual trade between Canada and the US. Fact 7. Canada's Iceberg Valley. Canada has a region known as Iceberg Alley. which stretches from the coast of Labrador to the southeast coast of Newfoundland. This area is famous for being one of the best places to view icebergs, which break off from glaciers and ice caps in Greenland and the Arctic, then drift south into this region. In a typical year, 700 to 800 icebergs traverse Iceberg Alley. Popular spots such as St. Anthony, Bonavista, Twillingate, and Cape Spear are accessible by road, allowing visitors to see these stunning natural ice formations up close. Fact 6. Camp X. During World War II, Ontario was home to a secret Canadian spy school called Camp X, located in Whitby. After the war ended, Camp X was transformed into a communication interception station until 1969. Rumors suggest that famous authors like Ian Fleming, the creator of James Bond, and Roald Dahl, the author of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, may have been among the alumni of this mysterious and influential training camp. Fact 5. North America's deepest lake is in Canada's Arctic. North America's deepest lake is Great Slave Lake in Canada's Northwest Territories. It reaches a depth of 614 meters, 2,014 feet, making it deeper than any U.S. lake and even surpassing Loch Ness in Scotland. To visualize, submerging the Eiffel Tower, 324 meters, or the CN Tower, 553 meters, would leave plenty of space above the water. In addition to being enormous, roughly the size of Belgium, Great Slave Lake is ice-covered for up to 8 months of the year. Cold water animals and mostly uncharted habitats can be found in its depths. Its maximum depth actually surpasses that of Crater Lake in Oregon, making Canada the continent's record holder. Fact 4. Niagara Falls, the honorary eighth wonder. While there isn't necessarily an official list of the 7 wonders of the world, Niagara Falls is often listed as a natural wonder or an honorary eighth wonder. So, just how spectacular is it? The water at the falls has been recorded reaching speeds of up to 68 miles per hour, about 109 kilometers an hour. The whirlpool rapids below the falls flow at around 30 miles per hour, 48 kilometers an hour. The Niagara River itself connects 2 Great Lakes, Erie and Ontario. In 1885, inventors Nikola Tesla and George Westinghouse built the world's first hydroelectric power plant at Niagara Falls. Today, the falls generate about 4 million kilowatts of electricity, enough to power over a quarter of the homes in New York State and Ontario, showcasing its incredible natural and technological significance. Fact 3. Canada has the longest coastline in the world. So we've established now just how huge Canada is, and we've all heard just how massive its coastline is, but you probably didn't realize just how impressive it really is. Canada boasts the longest coastline in the world, a fact often overlooked despite its size. Surrounded by the Pacific, Atlantic, and Arctic Oceans, Canada's shoreline stretches an estimated 243,042 kilometers. That's an outrageous length, more than enough to keep a dedicated walker busy for over 30 years, assuming a relatively relaxed pace of 19 kilometers per day. The shores of 52,455 islands are a big part of what makes the coastline so big. Fact 2. The not-so-straight line. As we mentioned, the border between the United States and Canada is the longest international border in the world. But did you know that when the original maps were drawn to divide Canada from the US, much of the eastern boundary had been explored, but the western regions were largely unknown? As a result, cartographers drew a straight line down the map and commissioned surveyors to cut a corridor along it. Before GPS technology, creating such a precise straight line across an entire continent was quite a challenge. Today, when viewed from the sky, you can see that the border actually zigs and zags in places, especially in the west, where natural features and terrain has influenced the actual boundary. Fact 1. The disputed Hans Island in Kennedy Channel. In the Kennedy Channel, which lies between Canada and Greenland, there are 3 islands, with Hans Island being the smallest and most unremarkable. It's a tiny, uninhabited, barren knoll that sits right in the middle of the theoretical dividing line between Canada and Greenland. Both countries claim the island, Denmark on behalf of Greenland and Canada, leading to an ongoing international dispute. But how have they handled this standoff? For a while, the conflict was played out as a friendly game between the Danes and the Canadians, who alternately planted their flags and left bottles of their best liquor for the other side to find. Even while politics has grown increasingly serious over time, it's nice to remember that, at its heart, both sides are just here to have a good time. What about 50 insane facts about European geography you won't believe are true?